going on, everybody? It's Mark and Travis here, the Super Stache brothers, and we're here with the review for The Wolverine. Not X-Men Origins, but The Wolverine.
This movie came out in 2013, directed by James, is it Mangold? Is that how you pronounce it?
I didn't even write it down.
And he's an unknown director to me. I mean, he's done a couple movies, but nothing that really sticks out.
He never really did like any big Hollywood movies. He has, but not a lot.
He did. What was that movie I looked up earlier?
Night and Day was the only one I.
Night and Day, and he did another one with Hugh Jackman. So he does have history.
Kate and Leopold.
Yeah, Kate and Leopold. He has history with Hugh Jackman. So, and you can almost tell because the movies. It is a real good movie, but we'll get into it. The runtime is 2 hours and 16 minutes, and the story picks up shortly after, or I shouldn't say shortly, sometime after X-Men: The Last Stand.
He's going through a lot of struggles, how he had to kill Jean Grey in the last movie. Well, it wouldn't have been the last movie, but in The Last Stand, you see his struggles with not having her in his life.
And they did a real good job with tying that story from the original trilogy into this story. There's a few nods to Origins, but it's not worth even mentioning because Origins, to me, shouldn't even be part of this trilogy. It shouldn't even exist, but, you know. Anyway, this is a story about Logan. He's finally realizing just who and what he is, and he's in Japan visiting an old friend, fighting samurais and ninjas who use guns, which I find kind of odd, but, you know, it is modern day, so I just accepted that. But while all this is going on in Japan, he's also trying to cope without his healing abilities because he gets them taken away from him, and we've never really seen Wolverine this vulnerable before.
Well, that's what I had written down. This was the first movie where you start to see Logan, and in a way I look at it as a foreshadow for Logan the movie, because this was the first movie where for a part of the movie, he didn't have his healing powers, so he was very vulnerable.
Yeah. And there's even scenes where he's like getting stitched up by doctors, and it's stuff we're not used to seeing by Logan or from Logan. And I must add that the cinematography in this movie is exceptionally well compared to Origins.
Yeah, I will say that too. I thought the camera work and cinematography in this movie was very good.
Even the claws, like there's scenes where the girl's actually touching the claws, and it doesn't look like some CGI stupid thing in the mirror.
I think they used a lot of props, like as much claws as they could.
You could tell his claws were props. In this. But it was good. I liked it. That's how it should be, if you ask me.
Me too.
But this being said about the cinematography, the last quarter of the film, I thought maybe it was just there's so much going on that the CGI guys they couldn't focus to every detail, and I like to point out flaws in things. So
yeah, whereas a lot of reviewers on YouTube have said this as well, that last third or the last quarter of the movie gets really comic booky compared to like the realistic first like 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas it literally turns into...
The train scene's kind of comic booky too, but that being said, they really keep it grounded because he doesn't have his healing powers in that whole train scene either, so he's vulnerable as well
in
as
that
these guys,
scene. Yeah.
So. But anyway, we'll get into our top 3 scenes of the movie, I guess.
Well, I gotta laugh. For comedy anyway, I love the scene where Logan's getting bathed by the old Chinese ladies. Or Japanese.
What are they? They're disinfecting him. The caveman.
Well, no, who was it? He goes in and then he sees the girl who, like, later on in the movie is going to be, like, banging her and everything. She's like, who's the caveman? Clean him up. Yeah. And, like, I'm just like, okay, whatever.
And it's funny because he was living in a cave.
It's funny.
Like, it is true. So, but I liked, actually, speaking of living in the cave, he's living in the woods trying to cope with Jean Grey's death, and him and this bear were basically competing for the territory. The bear would scratch a tree, he'd go up and claw it with his claws, and they weren't fighting because they knew each other were powerful animals, and they just let each other coexist with each other. And then later, shortly after, a hunter winds up killing him with a poisoned arrow, and then I just love that whole sequence because Logan
It's just like, you shouldn't have you should have went and looked for him. And
well, he was just competing with the bear, but it wasn't like he was going to go out and kill the bear because the bear was in his territory, and the bear was doing the same with him. And I really liked that because, like you said, you get that feel like he actually is an animal. Like,
but with that being said, the way that scene worked out was that the hunter, I guess the bear attacked them, and he shot it with like one of those poison arrows, but didn't bother going to look for the bear and putting him out of his misery. That's why Logan was so put out.
Oh, I thought... Okay, for some reason I thought he shot it and then it attacked them, but I don't know.
That could have been how it went. I
might have to rewatch that.
I may have missed that too. So
another scene I like though is just small, when he throws the fiance in the pool.
How did you know that there was a pool there?
I didn't. I found they tried to make him a little more funnier in this movie, and in some scenes it worked, in other scenes I was like, it's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, so I'll accept it. But it was like, it's just not Wolverine to me. And then my third favorite scene is whenever he's trying, what is it, that tower? What's that tower called? I forget.
At the end of the movie?
Anyway, there's this big fight scene in a big tower at the end, and Logan's trying to get there, and he's going through the town fighting the ninjas, and they all start shooting the ropes at him with all these using bows and arrows attached to ropes, and he's like hooked to them, just pulling them, and it reminded me so much of Spider-Man 2 when Spider-Man was shooting all the webs trying to stop the train, except all these ninjas are shooting ropes trying to stop the Wolverine. It's still like a big metal thing trying to go, but just switched a different take on it, and I really liked it, and I know it probably didn't even mean nothing with Spider-Man, but I think that way. So.
Anyways, with that being said, I would like to point this out. What the hell was Shredder doing in this movie?
Yeah.
Why was Shredder in this movie?
Shredder and a Transformer got it on, and this is what we got.
Yeah, it wasn't really Shredder. It was the Silver Samurai, but he looked a lot like Shredder.
You would honestly think Michael Bay directed the last... If he had have exploded when he hit the ground, you would have assumed Michael Bay directed that last fight scene. Honestly, honest to God.
I say this is basically a perfect movie, except for the last.
Yeah, and even coming up to the fight scene, Wolverine gets within close to a mile of this tower. They send a fucking army of ninjas after him. This redhead pulls up on a motorbike, and she just pulls right up to the front door.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, but she's not Wolverine.
No, I understand, it's not Wolverine. Send a handful of ninjas or something. But they were just like, oh, she's coming. Let her come. Yeah. She's no threat. Which maybe that's what they thought. But she was pretty badass.
Her character was badass.
And there's one other little thing in that last fight scene that bothered me. And it's not even a big deal, but they knocked the Viper girl down. She's this. How would you explain her powers?
She poisons people. She's basically Marvel's Poison Ivy.
She's immune to every poison on Earth, and she can... Not only is she immune to them, can't she, spit them out?
She spits, acids at you.
Yeah. Anyway, they knock this Viper girl down 2 or 3 stories in the big tower, and she lands on a bridge, and you think she's dead, whatever. Then Wolverine tackles Shredder. I'm calling him Shredder. Wolverine tackles Shredder down probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 stories. They land on a bridge, they fight. Shredder knocks him down a couple stories. They're fighting. Then out of nowhere, Viper just kind of comes up and poisons Wolverine. It's like...
As if that was the floor she landed on.
She didn't just fall 10 stories. She'd be crushed if she did. The stupid little things like that bother me.
Whereas, that's why I consider the last third of the movie, it's basically they went and they got too far away from the realistic take or whatever, and they're just like,
I think
it's comic.
I actually think the movie would have been better if they, that suit, that samurai suit that was by him when he was dead.
When he died, and he said,
that is the suit he should have been in.
The samurai will look after him for the next so many generations or something
That should have been the suit he was in, and I know they made it sound better for a story, but it wound up looking too big, bulky, and too. It seemed more like a robot than someone was. It didn't look
with
like
that being said, at the same time, I don't feel as though Wolverine could have taken him down just like that by himself in a movie.
Yeah. But, that's about all I really have to say. Besides, there is 2 more things that we're going to talk about. It's not really a favorite scene or a least favorite scene. It's just something we liked in the movie. And the first one is the end credit scene. with Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, I seen that for, I think, the first time today.
The one with Professor X and Magneto was the first time. I seen it today was the first time. But the alternate ending, I've seen that before. That's completely new to you. So
I near shit my pants this morning when I watched that alternate ending. It's the same thing, except for instead of cutting to black, there was like an extra 20 seconds where she hands Logan this like briefcase or something. He's like, oh, what's this? And I'm there thinking like, oh, it's probably like a samurai sword or something. Yeah. He opens the case up and it's the Wolverine costume from the comics and shows.
The costume we all want.
I never thought that was there. That makes me feel as though, yes, the costume will be in Logan. I do believe that.
I rated this movie an 8 out of 10, and I probably would have rated it a 9.5 if that scene had have been the actual ending and not an alternate ending. Like, if it was the actual ending, I would have rated this a 9.5 just because we got to see the suit. If we had seen him in the suit, it would have been a 10 out of 10.
But see, that, just a small little timbit like that, just the suit and you don't see him wear it, that's what I thought we were going to get in Logan. But with seeing that already done, I believe we're going to get, like, a brutally graphic scene with him in that suit.
I'm hoping so. I'm praying so. And if so, I'll rate that movie a 10 out of 10.
I'll give it an 11 out of 10.
We need to see Hugh Jackman in that suit kicking ass. And even, I could see in Logan that maybe in the corner of a room, the suit's just kind of like in the corner collecting dust. Mm-hmm. I'd be fine with an Easter egg like that if we don't get him in the suit. If we don't get him in the suit, I want to see the suit in the movie. Even if it's in the briefcase in the corner of the fucking room. Something. Just something.
But with that being said, I'd say I'd give the movie no less than a 7 out of 10. And what time is it now? We're going to see Logan in about half hour. The movie starts in about half hour. So to wrap things up, what do you think? Do you think Logan's going to die, or do you think he's going to stay alive?
It'd be cool if how the girl from this movie, how she seen him holding his heart. It'd be cool if that he killed himself in the end of the movie.
Oh, like I never thought of that.
Cut his heart out and
then holds it.
Like makes himself die because he's just so tired.
And and it's true because the guy who directed this movie is also the guy who directed Logan too. So
it is possible that
they could connect them.
That may be how it ends, and if not, I'd be perfectly fine with him with his jacket over his shoulder walking off in the sunset. Yeah. I'd be perfectly fine with that. They don't have to kill him off. Let him live on for us in our hearts and our
Yeah,
what I mean?
You can't take after 17 years. You can't take that away.
No,
that's just like.
And I think that's the route they got to do, or they kill him off in the yellow and blue suit, and yeah.
Well then.
Overall, that before we end this video, that movie is worthy of being called the Wolverine, if you ask me. It is worthy of being called the Wolverine. That is the last thing I have to say.
So yeah, with that being said, I think we better get ready and head down to the theater.
Yes, you guys too.
Yeah, you guys better be there because when we get back, we are going to have a spoiler-filled review of Logan. I'm getting in.
I mean, we can't take notes in it. Well, I'm sure we can, but I'd rather keep my eyes on the movie.
Yeah, me too. So
we'll probably do another review when it comes out on Blu-ray, but we'll have a half-ass one tonight for you.
And it's gonna be spoiler filled. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So for now, you guys take her easy.